Hey, it finally changed screen. Hello everybody, good morning, and welcome to another game from the League of Dracula 2025. In this game we have RToWin playing as the Hunters and Pizzawizard playing as Dracula. As always, I'm streaming this live on Twitch, so people who are watching live on Twitch, if you want to say hello to the folks who are watching this back after the fact on YouTube, feel free. And we'll have some interaction with the chat. Feel free to ask any questions. I don't have a co-commentator today, so exclusively you have to put up with me and my sickly voice. But we have to plow on regardless. I've got some tea in front of me. So yeah, let's introduce the players. We've got RToWin doing his classic RToWin Oktoberfest setup here. Newcomer into the community. In terms of participating in tournaments, at least. I don't know exactly when RToWin joined the community, but it was not too long before the this tournament was announced. It wasn't with the announcement of the tournament, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's taken the world by storm. Finished third in the league after the first 14 games. Looking at the medium buckholts, it seems that RToWin had a slightly easier, set of opponents. But ultimately, that's not anything. That's not RToWin's fault or anything. You can only beat who you are drawn against, and RToWin did the hard job and won most of those games. I think it was 11 wins out of 14, which is very impressive for a first-time effort. So yeah, definitely put himself in a good position to not only obviously qualify for the knockout stages. That's guaranteed, but to finish inside the top 8, most likely, and maybe even the top 3 or 4 positions. So yeah, very good going for a newcomer. So have to see how RToWin fares against Pizzawizard here. RToWin did have to face Wizakagic, who's another high-ranking player in their first sort of group of 7 opponents, and fared okay, went 1-1, which is definitely not a bad result against somebody as experienced as Wizakagic. So we'll have to see how RToWin deals with Pizzawizard here. Pizzawizard, of course, well known to the community, has been in every tournament so far. Won the league in 2023, of course, and was runner-up last year. So yeah, very strong player indeed. Particularly known on the Hunter side, but because you don't get to the very, very late stages of tournaments if you're not a strong player on both sides. So definitely a good player indeed. So, slightly surprised actually that Pizzawizard isn't higher up in the league. As of the time of recording, Pizzawizard is 5th, was 4th, but because of a couple of results yesterday, has slipped down a place. Obviously has games in hand over a couple of players above. And yeah, had won 10 of his 14 games, which is definitely not terrible. It's good, but maybe not quite the high standards we'd expect from Pizzawizard. So we'll have to see if Pizzawizard sort of grows in strength as the tournament goes on. So yeah, we got Pizzawizard obviously on Dracula here. So I think maybe Pizzawizard deferred the choice to RToWin, or maybe RToWin wanted to play Hunters first. I can't quite remember now, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to play on both sides. And yeah, we'll see what happens here. Obviously, Pizzawizard will want to win this, especially seeing the results that were happening yesterday. If Pizzawizard can get at least 1 win out of these 2, then that's sort of top 4 position secured. If Pizzawizard loses both of these games, then we know he's going to finish at least in 5th place. Unless medium buckholts might affect him, might go up to 4th place again. But then there are players behind who might be able to catch up. So yeah, definitely vital for both of these players to win at least once, just to secure those sort of 3rd and 4th positions. But especially RToWin in particular, if can get 2 wins, might end up finishing 2nd, which is very impressive. So yeah, well, there's a lot to play for as they try to get the most optimal seeding that they can for the knockout phase. That will happen after this round of League games. Hello, Temikun. Good morning. God, it's very early for you. I know we had the shift in time zones. You're only 5 hours behind, but gee whiz. That's a very early start for a Sunday morning, but welcome in. Go Pizzawizard. Okay, so Temikun is going for the experienced player then. Very good. 5 a.m. Oh right, you're not. That's right. I keep forgetting you're not Eastern. That's right. I think Julie was asking about you to Terminator, not me. I think my reasons for not competing are well known. But I am missing out a lot on the tournament. And I haven't been able to watch many of the games just because of work and stuff. I literally just input results now. So I've been a little bit disconnected from it. So it's kind of nice last night to watch a couple of the games between Fangs of Fire and Mr. Green, and then to catch this one. Even though, as you can tell from my voice, I'm not 100%, but I wanna see some of these games. I want to see what's going on. The family's well, Temakan, thank you. Yeah, Elle's doing great. You know, 2.5 months old now, so yeah, it's all going great. But yeah, we're hoping to get into some sort of rhythm. Slight sort of spoilers, but I've got quite a cool idea for the spring tournament. But I'm gonna be really gutted if I think of the idea and the tournament goes ahead and then I can't compete in it. So yeah. I think the Terminator you could have maybe participated, but I understand with all the wingspan stuff going on, it'd be really hard to juggle everything. So yeah, it's okay. There's always more tournaments on the horizon. There's always we're guaranteed 2 a year, right? So that's always going to be fun. So yeah, what have we had? We've had a newspaper reports. RToWin decided to trigger it on the first location, which does not have an encounter. Mr. Pizzawizard didn't misdirect it, which maybe now, based on the newspapers, he might regret. So yeah, Pizzawizard's mucking around in this area of the map, which is probably not a huge surprise, given the fact, that is a potential weakness to this setup that RToWin is employing. It does leave Iberia open, even more open than it would be if, we start. Normally, Seward starts in Madrid, but there are some setups where you've got Seward in Bordeaux or Marseille, like we saw last night. The fact that Seward is all the way over here in Munich means, this space is even more open. But then, at the same time, this area is going to get scouted more easily, right? Any hide scouts are going to get targeted in this area, or maybe even Ireland. Yeah, but in this case it was newspapers, so we don't know where the first location is. Unless RToWin has already drawn a second newspaper, so, there wasn't that feeling. Because that can sometimes happen, right? When Dracula doesn't misdirect this Stein location, there is that kind of thing with the hunters where do they want to trigger the newspaper on that location? And then they're scrambling, trying to find where this, first encounter is. Even though it's adjacent to Saragossa, but yeah, but there are 5 locations adjacent to Saragossa. And depending on movement and things, you might not be able to get enough hunters over there to check all those spots and things. But maybe RToWin has a second newspaper, so knows that this won't be a problem, or we'll just send all the hunters over there anyway. The advantages of this setup that RToWin has, even though you're leaving this part of the map more open, is, the item optimization between these 3 hunters are going to be really, really good. They're going to be able to trade around tickets, so you're going to have better white 1 distribution, most likely, unless Van Helsing draws both, but there's nothing you can do about that. You have better heavenly host distribution, better horse distribution. You're not going to end up with, Godami with 2 horses, and he's having to go all the way across the side of the map to give them to Seward or whatever, especially if Dracula starts east. They can manage their items a lot more sufficiently. So this is a bit of a hot take that I've got, and some people might agree or disagree. I need to play with this up a lot more, but if I do enter the next tournament, I probably will exclusively use this setup, and I'll be interested to see how it works. But my gut feeling is, in the long run, this setup is actually better than mine. You're going to eliminate the item distribution issues, which can affect quite a lot of games, and it does make the east weaker because I've got 3 hunters over here, so 2 can charge in, 1 can block this corridor. It makes Italy very weak, because, especially with Munich, it's slightly better connected. You're 2 fast horse rolls from Bari or Naples, where you're not from Vienna. You have to use charter carriages, next and weathers and things. So, it makes Italy weaker. It makes the east a little bit weaker. You are opening up Iberia, but the thing is, Iberia isn't a great place for Dracula to start because he either has to go out to sea or he's having to. It was almost like an Italy in the sense where Dracula's having to come up this way, sort of eastward through the map, through this sort of narrow corridor. Here we got Bordeaux and Toulouse, and 300s can easily just charge in on you with Charlie carriages, excellent weathers and renewed vigors and Charlie carriages and fast horses, and you can get caught very quickly in this area. So you just got to be a little bit careful. And we saw it even last night with the match between Fangs of Fire and Mr. Green, where overstaying in Iberia can be the death of many a Dracula, and it just seems to be that a lot of Dracula players just don't learn and just keep sticking around in Iberia when they have no right to. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this sort of if this hunter setup really does become meta, and if it really sort of catches on or not. Especially if RToWin has a lot of success with it and makes it to the very very late stages of this tournament. It gets showcased more, people might start catching on. Yeah. So yeah, apart from the Saragossa reveal. Nothing really substantially happening at the moment. I assume Grammy supplied. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what Seward's waiting on for here. Maybe RToWin's trying to work out if Seward should be sent now or should be supplying one more turn. I mean, the thing is with Dracula, right? Dracula might not be hanging around Iberia. This could be Toulouse, could be the rumour token, and Dracula could be like in Geneva now or something, and might be looking to try and maybe sneak past these hunters through the Dracula highway as these lot head west. But the thing is, as they're going to go west, you expect, if they got horses, one will go into Marseille, one will go into Geneva, and they'll start sort of eliminating these locations and make sure that Dracula is still in Iberia. They're not going to let Dracula sneak through. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I assume... Is this... Okay, I'm going to quickly just log out and log back in just to make sure it's not me being buggy. I assume RToWin is actually thinking about the turn. But I could be wrong. Normally if there's some sort of issue, you get an error message, but just in case, I will dip out and dip back in. Okay, no, Seward was actually thinking about moving. Oh, interesting. Okay, only went as far as Milan. Okay, was that a fast horse roll then? That went wrong? I don't know. And Van Helsing's coming across, so that's very interesting. So, yeah. Van Helsing only has one event. Maybe Van Helsing has a very critical item that wants to be traded. Maybe he has an early horse that he wants to try and get traded, which is absolutely fine. We'll have to see. Or maybe if Van Helsing goes to try and find this vamp, then the other three can just sit and supply for longer, which is always good for the hunters. So yeah, I will endeavour to mute myself every time I have to blow my nose or cough or whatever. But there might be times where it might catch me unawares, so apologies in advance for any sniffling or coughing and the like. I realise, especially for the Americans, it's very early in the morning. So there won't be a lot of people around for this stream, but that's absolutely fine. I have actually sort of changed some settings inside OBS. I think for Fury of Dracula you won't notice a difference, because Fury of Dracula is not very intensive. But for some other games, I've made it that hopefully won't get as much lag. So I might actually, if this game finishes very, very fast, I might actually do some... I might try and load up another game and see if we can get any sort of joy with it. But anyway, we've got more newspapers. Okay then, so that's really nice. Okay, so that now gives the hunters a lot more sort of direction in terms of where this rumour token is. It's either Madrid or Alicante. And yeah, so Dracula is very much sort of just wanting to stay around in Iberia for a bit. Which is okay. I think the big issue is here, sort of the dilemma here for Dracula is Dracula's kind of aware that he's going to have to leave by sea. Which direction is Dracula going to go? Do the hunters have money trail and things to be able to find out which direction he's going in? And also as hunters, they don't want to commit too far into Iberia with too many hunters, because then they have to all vacate. And the thing is, especially early on, they might not have the horses and things which are necessary. Mina's showing a knife, which is kind of interesting. I wouldn't expect her to be showing a knife when you've had this sort of optimized item distribution going on over here. So I'm not quite sure why she's showing a knife. That should have probably been switched around in such a way that that would have been hidden, but it was probably drawn first on her. And RToWin just wants to keep it revealed. But I think you can do some tricks with the trading where you can take the revealed item away from her and then then give it back to her on a later turn. Or you can take the revealed knife off her and give her a different knife in the same item trade. And then you can reveal something else, like, I don't know, a garlic or a steak or a fast horse on her, and then the second knife, the new knife, is now hidden. So there's lots of nice little tricks you can do with that. Also, I just want to say, for people watching on Twitch, if the audio balance is terrible for whatever reason, please tell me. Don't suffer in silence. Tell me if it's not good. So, yeah. Yeah, until the game sort of develops a bit more, there's not really much else to talk about. We haven't seen a lot of events, apart from those 2 newspapers. I'm very lucky that they were sort of they were shuffled up to the top of the deck. Hi, Lynn. Good morning. No, don't suffer in silence. Don't suffer in silence, Lynn. Can we get Determinator? I'll implore you. You should be on holiday, Determinator. What are you doing? Why are you watching me? Can we get a shout out for Lynn in the chat? I'm feeling alright, as you can tell from my voice. I'm still not 100%, but I feel more energetic, and you know, I'm gonna have to go back to work tomorrow unless I collapse in a heap for some reason. So I'm gonna have to just sort of plow on regardless, and hopefully this cough will just sort of disappear. It feels like it's loosening now. Maybe just because after sleeping things just tighten up anyway. So we shall see. Okay, Van Helsing trading with Mina. That's nice. Okay, so Charlie Cannon's got taken off her. So maybe Van Helsing will just use this instantly, which is maybe not a bad idea either. I'll try not to. I went into work on Monday, and I was like, I'll power through it. And then I woke up on Tuesday and I was just like, nope, this is not gonna happen. This is not gonna happen. So yeah, it sucks, but it's what it is. Oh, I see how it is. Hey, she has an excuse to be slower these days, the Terminator. Don't you start. Maybe they always take ages, but now she has an excuse. That's okay. Well, you're welcome to stay in as long as you like. So yeah, it's this is very much going to be a case of just dealing with this rumor token, and then just see if they can force Dracula out of Iberia. It's kind of one of these weird things that maybe if they don't have the right events, then maybe they don't want to force Dracula out of Iberia for so quickly. They kind of maybe want him to stick around a bit longer, and that'll give them time to supply up a bit more. Oh, right, oops. That's okay. Mr. Terminator Senior. Yeah, RToWin's been quite sort of thoughtful here with turns, which is kind of interesting to see, because often, you know, early on, hunters can sort of autopilot and just go supply, and turns can go by very quickly, but clearly there's some decisions have to be made here in terms of supplying and item, you know, we saw it last night with one of the games, I can't remember if it was the first or the second one, where hunters were having to choose to supply or not supply because there are very vital items at the bottom of the deck that they didn't want to be supplied up. But no, in this case, those 2 Holy Circles got discarded, so... Okay, so Seward's railing down, that's nice. So Klee doesn't have horses, but it's taking advantage of the rail movement, so Gyro would be very happy when he watches this back. So, because we don't know, obviously, if Dracula went to Madrid first, then that means that he's having to go around the outside. He's now like in Santander or something, or he might have hidden somewhere else. If it was Alicante and Madrid is open, then, you know, Dracula could be in Bordeaux now, potentially. Okay, not using the chartered carriage, that's very interesting. Yeah, I wondered actually he'd go to Bordeaux, and yeah, I think that's kind of sensible. I mean, I don't know what Van Helsing would have done if he'd found him in Bordeaux. I assume Van Helsing is equipped to deal with that situation, but he's got a chartered carriage. So yeah, it's I don't know why I keep looking at this. See if there's any more information. But it's still very early on, so you know there's no crucifixes in here. There's a couple of guns, a couple of guns of each type, but the others could be around. There's one holy bullet, so I think this is kind of where early game is actually very. It actually can be quite dangerous for Dracula to take an early fight, because they don't have much information about the items. So yeah, you can't. We've seen it before in this tournament, where notably in the match between Ghostwheel and Wizakagic, where I was watching Ghostwheel's perspective as hunters, and I was looking at the items going, oh my god, there's no way you can take this fight. You've got crucifix and garlic, and there's no way you're going to be able to hurt Dracula here. And he did, because it was early enough on that Wizakagic didn't account for the fact that there might be a random crucifix on somebody and then take 3 damage from it and whatnot. So it's kind of interesting, that dynamic. But this is good because, yeah, both... Assuming Van Helsing drew a good ticket, you know, him and Sue can both get onto this rumour token. They can find this rumour token location. Do they both have stakes, is the question. Is it a fighting vamp? Pizzawizard in commentary last night said that he likes to throw down an aristocratic vampire early, but that's maybe more if you're going to hide. He hasn't used the hide trick here, so my gut feeling would be it's a fighting vampire. But we'll have to see. What the deal of that, what the deal of it is. So then, this is the whole thing we saw last night. Dracula's clearly saying in Iberia is Alahan's going to pull the trigger here and try and do like a renewed vigor play and ignore the rumour token. I probably wouldn't. I'd be a little bit more so conservative here and just play safe, deal with the rumour token, and don't try and, you know, bite off more than you can chew early on. But Dracula... Oh, Dracula has to be in Santander now, right? Oh, well, maybe not. Oh, maybe not. No, if it was, I think it's more likely that this is Alicante, because having Madrid open just gives Dracula more options. If this room token is Madrid, it's very obvious that Dracula's in Santander right now. He might be hiding, which might complicate things. But if he's in Alicante, if it was Alicante where this rumor token is, then Dracula could be, you know, Lisbon now. Could be in Cadiz now. We'll see. That's right, Terminator. Take care. Have a good day. Enjoy your holiday. We'll see you around soon. Exactly. Yeah, poor guy. He's just misunderstood Lynn. He wants a holiday, but obviously he's not the lying on the beach, lying in the sun on the beach type. Maybe he likes the warm climate, but not the intense sunlight. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, another. Yeah. So yeah, they did draw the newspapers then. Okay, good. I'm glad my deduction skills were right. That it was Alicante. It's just more likely, because otherwise it'd be very obvious where Dracula is right now. So yeah. There's all the newspapers in the top, not even third of the deck. The top quarter of the deck. That's pretty. That's bonkers. But then again, if they're drawing 3 newspapers, then they probably don't have a lot of other good stuff. I mean, I know they got some events, but we know one of them is a good luck. But that's the only 2 events which are here. I was a fighting vampire. See, look at that! Oh my goodness, it's as if I know the game. We know there's a charted carriage, but you know the really key things like renewed vigors and consecrated grounds and things. Maybe RToWin hasn't drawn them. A reference to last night. So yeah, I don't know. This is the kind of the way I always feel with this, and like the way then Dracula has to kind of play is think, well, if they're drawing all of these sort of find me events, then they haven't got other events which are going to hurt me. So yeah, that's kind of something you have to sort of contemplate, and Pizzawizard might want to take a bit of a risk here, because he might think, well, I might be able to catch a hunter in a 1v1 situation that they're not equipped for. So we'll have to see if RToWin takes the bait or not. Plotting into... Oh, punch. Now, we don't know anything about Seward's items, so he could have a stake, or maybe he doesn't have a stake. So this is where now this vampire has to play a little bit carefully. You try to find with the expectation that Seward's going to escape, or is he going to throw out a knife? Seward has tried to escape round 1. So it's more likely than not that Seward has a stake and he'll just deal with it that way. But you never know. Seward might just throw out a knife here, and the vampire will get caught out by it, and then that suddenly... Oh, it wouldn't actually be a dead vampire because he's mesmerized. No. Okay, so maybe if that's the case, because of that knowledge, Seward will probably just try to escape here and just play purely defensive, which is understandable. Strength into a dodge. Okay, so Seward could have escaped. He could have escaped just fine. But was expecting the fangs. It's something that Pizzawizard was saying last night, that hunters now are becoming very, very greedy. They don't want to give up points at all under any circumstances. So... they will potentially play more defensive. But Seward was played punch round 2, so it's a good play. Fangs into an escape. Okay, there you go. That's a point for the vampire. Nicely done. And yeah, it'll probably get staked at night, but it got that vital first point of the game. Peter was on the board. Nicely done. So this is going to be very interesting for me to see how Van Helsing does this. Okay, and Van Helsing just supplies. Okay. Okay. That's playing the more sort of conservative style here, which I think is definitely the right thing to do, at least for this one turn. Because if Dracula is in Santander, or you know, Dracula might not want to then use wolf form just to get past Van Helsing. Maybe Mina will go in here to like Saragossa, but that is a layer, so you gotta be a little bit careful here unless she goes up to Bordeaux. Nope, she's going to Saragossa. Okay, this could be quite bad depending on what it is. Ooh, yeah, that's nasty. Yeah, that's not ideal at all. But I guess she could go to Madrid and supply, but then Madrid might be on the trail, so yeah, that's a bit awkward. I probably would have gone to Bordeaux. I would have wanted to avoid that layer, but that's okay. I know you love this game, but how do you feel about vampires in general? And that's the thing, but like outside of this game, I don't really have a strong opinion of vampires. I'm not, you know, I'm not a fan of vampire literature and media. When I say I'm not a fan, it doesn't mean I'm against them. No, it's something actually I've thought about that. I've started reading the book, and I do need to sit down and, you know, get through it. But it can be a bit heavy because obviously the language style is a bit different, so it's quite a tough read. But I was definitely enjoying it when I was reading it. And yeah, I was thinking about it the other day. Actually, it'd be kind of cool to go back and watch, especially some of the older, sort of the classic Dracula literature, vampire media. The old Dracula films and things. So it's something I need to try and get round to at some point. But the amount that I'm reading is just very low in general. So if I'm going to pick up a book, I'll more likely pick up a book that is a little bit more accessible rather than something that's going to clearly be a bit of a slog to go through. No, I don't know how much I've read of it actually. It must be behind me on my shelf. Where is it? It is here. Look at that. So how far am I through? I only got as far as chapter 7. I've read the first 6 chapters. There's like 80 odd pages, or a bit more than that actually, because of all the prologue and stuff. But I like the style of it. The fact you're getting the perspective of different people and writing their journals and things. Oh, the book. Oh, you like the book? Okay, that's good. So yeah, I think it's just nice that there's a lot of references to the game. Oh, the book. Sorry, in the game, there's a lot of references. In the book. Oh no, sorry, I'm getting that wrong. In the game, yes, that's right. There's a lot of references to the book in the game. There you go. Because the game is meant to be a sequel to the book. So a lot of the event cards and things in the way that they find Dracula is... where did that chartered carriage... Where did that come from? Oh, Van Helsing must have discarded it. Interesting, I completely missed that. So yeah, there's a lot of references and things to it, which is really cool. So yeah, and obviously the characters are all characters which are inside the book. And the allies as well, and like John Seward, one of his event cards is called Wax Cylinders, because in the book he uses the wax cylinders, right, to record his notes and the like. The new BBC Dracula show. How new is new? I didn't realize they made a new one. That's interesting. That's the thing, I'm really out of the loop with BBC stuff. Are you listening to the audiobook version? See, that's probably going to be a way that I'm more likely to consume it. So yeah, I should probably maybe invest in audiobooks, and I can listen to it on my drive to work. Okay, so this is interesting. RToWin is pulling the trigger here. I don't know if I like this, because Seward's somewhat out of position, unless he's got like a sense of emergency to reposition. Mina is down an item. If she was in Bordeaux, I don't think even Dracula wolf forms if he's in Bordeaux. If she's in Bordeaux there. Yeah, I don't know if I like this very much. I think that's pulling the trigger way too early. If Gadami's in Marseille, that's a different story. But no, I really don't like this. Okay. It is possible that what Dracula's done here was in Santander last turn and is now wolf formed into Cardiff. Is that possible? Madrid, Lisbon, Hyde, Santander. Yep, definitely possible. $2020. Okay, I'll have to look it up. But yeah, there's definitely Dracula's been represented in a lot of media over the years. I'm not a big like horror fan though. In terms of if it's like jump scare horror, but because Dracula's more sort of gothic horror, that's maybe more the thing I'll be into. See, I need to go and invest time and look at the media. Hi, Platty. Welcome in. Good morning. How are you? Do you manage to get some sleep? How much more did you stream last night after I raided you? Interesting. So its only objective is to go to Granada. Oh, just under an hour again. Jeez, I mean, that was at least 6 hours that you were streaming for. That is, I was very shocked when I raided you, and I saw that you'd been streaming for 5 hours already. That's very impressive. Yeah, I do that with music. I'm big sort of like music file, audio file. So I do like having music on in the background a lot of the time. Obviously at work I don't, but when I'm driving to and from work, I've always got music on. There's just not enough time in the day for all the media. That's the problem. Oh no, well that's not ideal. That's not ideal at all. Oh, if you can get some rest. I'm okay. Yeah, I can tell from my voice that it's not the best, but at the same time, I think I've only coughed once in about 45 minutes of streaming, so maybe I'm surviving. I've got my tea in front of me. Chamomile and anise, and I've added some honey into it. So anyway, so what is going on here? So Mina did both actions already. She didn't check non. Okay, Dracula did go into non. Okay, this is just okay. I'm okay. I'm surprised she didn't check non. But then she's down in items, so unless Van Helsing has like heroic leap or something. Dracula didn't ambush. I don't understand why he didn't ambush there when. Oh, Godalming has Godalming done both actions or one? If he's done no actions yet, he can get into non with a sense of emergency and then a normal move. I don't know. I still don't like this very much. I just feel like this is just pulling the trigger way too early. I think Mino going to Saragossa was a huge mistake because that spy. I mean, I didn't expect a spy to be there, but that was actually really well played from Pizzawizard's part, and that really weakened her. If she was in Bordeaux, she can still access Iberia pretty easily from the sort of northern coast, and then I don't think Dracula goes into non when you got Mina sitting there too. What? Where are you going? 2, 3. Oh, do you have fast horses now? No, you don't. Okay, because there could have been a fast horse move into here. That makes me think that maybe RToWin has both renewed vigors. I don't think you use the first renewed vigor like that. If you don't throw out your only valuable renewed vigor like that. That's my gut feeling. But anywho, so Van Helsing has planned ambush, so that's nice. Might use it to play defensively. Might use it to get some damage onto Dracula. We don't know what Van Helsing's items are at all, so it's very much an unknown quantity over here. So we'll have to see. How much of a fan of vampire media are you, Platty? Lynn was saying that you've watched the newish BBC series. Okay, claws. So yeah, if Van Helsing has a gun, he can cancel this. He can escape to just get out of the combat, but will take 4 damage. Oh, RToWin's really thinking about this. There's a lot of tough decisions going on over here. RToWin's taking this very seriously, and I like it. Oh, you want proper vampire media then? Ooh, playing knife into claws. Damn, that's aggressive. That's very aggressive. I mean, I know he did 3 damage back, but Van Helsing took 4 damage there. Ooh, okay. Maybe the Huns have great strength. Is that why Van Helsing's been so aggressive here? Van Helsing might just look to escape now, but then if Dracula plays Fangs, then he's basically healed up most of the damage that Van Helsing's done, and Van Helsing's on 2 health. Yeah. I'm very surprised that the knife got thrown out there. But maybe, yeah, maybe Van Helsing doesn't have a gun. Because he would have played otherwise. What are his other items? Maybe he has a Heavenly Host and maybe a Crucifix. Let me have a quick look at the item discard pile. No crucifixes. I wonder if that's the item distribution here. Oh, see, look, neither of them have picked their cards yet. This is just so tense. Both of them are taking this very seriously. You know, Pizzawizard was saying in commentary last night that he is very respectful of RToWin, and RToWin has really taken the community by storm. So we'll have to see. Okay, they've both picked strength. That makes sense. Into a crucifix. Oh. Oh, brilliant. Okay, good try with the crucifix there. Because there was every chance there that, you know, Dracula try and throw out a Fang to try and heal that damage back up, or to stop a Heavenly Host. So yeah, good attempt. But yeah. Okay, Van Helsing's picked very quickly this time. I don't know if Dracula's got a tricky hand. Maybe he only had the 1 strength and didn't want to throw it out very early, just on the off chance that then Van Helsing escapes or something. Van Helsing might just dodge here. Or maybe Van Helsing might just throw out the Heavenly Host, because if there's a Fang, then he gets bitten rather than anything else. Oh, plotting into escape. Van Helsing gets out with his life. Holy moly, that was tense. Yeah, Pizzawizard will be ruining that. That was a very good opportunity to kill Van Helsing there. Yeah, yay for Van Helsing. He got out. That could have been very nasty. So yeah, Dracula's in kind of an interesting spot here where dogs. Okay, dogs don't work against bodyguards, but still. So it only takes 2 damage, and he's not delayed for the next encounter, so that's pretty important. But yeah, Dracula's in a bit of an interesting spot here where, you know, he hasn't got many options of places to move to. He's, you know, boxed in by 3 hunters, but then you've got Mina, who's down an item. Van Helsing's beaten up. Godalming's the one you've got to be a bit afraid of. But he doesn't... I don't think he has horses. So maybe he has 3 combat-related things, and that's very scary. Especially, he has more health than Van Helsing, so you can't just claw him twice. So... yeah, I don't know. Maybe Pizzawizard will go on purely on the offensive here. If he's worked out that that Godalming doesn't have horses, that maybe he goes to Clermont-Ferrand. Because it's off the rail line. Dracula could just go to sea now, but the problem is then, if he goes to sea, he's giving the hunters time to sort of recover. And as Dracula, you maybe want to just keep the pressure on here, and even if you're going to be playing very risky, if you can get away with it, you might end up baiting the hunters into a really bad situation. Seward's going to be stuck in with all this for a while. But yeah, that was a really good opportunity to kill Van Helsing there, after the way that RToWin played very aggressive with the first 2 cards, and it didn't work out for him. So yeah, Pizza would probably be not too happy about that. Okay, Dracula's hidden, and Dracula's staying on land, as I predicted. So yeah, he wants to try and leverage his advantage as much as possible. The fact that Seward's not leaving this location anytime soon. you got these two weaker hunters who are much weaker than they would be normally. He hasn't got wolf form, which is very crucial here. Unless there's a vampire somewhere along here, maybe in this space, and if it matures, you get the wolf form back. So yeah. Ooh, that's cool. When you said a store, I assume it wasn't a board game store. Maybe so in a more like general shop. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Wingspan's kind of everywhere now. It's very in vogue. We're eagerly awaiting any announcement for the 2026 expansion and what geographic location will be based on. They've actually released something very recently this week. I need to actually order them. Some fans of the game made even more bird cards based upon very specific geographic regions like the UK and more from America and more from Asia and so on. And they've actually the fans who created these birds and the makers of the game collaborated to officially publish them, and they can be bought as these little packs. So yeah, I need to get them. I don't know when I'll get around to playing it, and there's just so many birds now. The deck is a lot, but yeah, it's cool. So yeah, RToWin did have the second reader vigor. I think this is misguided. I think this is just pulling the trigger too early. I don't know if they can... Dracula didn't take that much damage from that fight with Van Helsing. And the thing is, like, Mina's not on a big city, so she can't supply before she... If Gadami has horses, then maybe this is a different story. If he has, like, a Lucy's Revenge or something, but... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like this very much. I've been wanting to try out Dark Souls or Bloodborne board games. Oh, interesting. Yeah, because I know you're really into that. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen a Bloodborne board game. I think I've seen a Dark Souls one before, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are. I don't even know how they would work if they're more like legacy based. But they're expensive. Yeah, but a board game. I mean, if they're legacy ones, then they will be more expensive, but you'll get a lot out of them. If you want to sort of dip your toes into sort of like board gaming as such, like maybe Gloomhaven might be something that you might be kind of interested in, or Frosthaven when it comes out. Local rumors. Oh, that's huge. Oh, he went into Paris. Oh my goodness, I don't know about that one. Yeah, yeah, I don't know about that one, Pizzawizard. I would have probably gone to Clermont-Ferrand. You need to stay off these big cities, because then you're just giving opportunity for Mina to resupply. That's insane. Yeah, Brussels. Yeah, Brussels on the map. Yeah. Hi, Fangs. Good morning. It's very early for you. What are you doing up? Wait, it is 7 AM. That's not too bad. Temkin was in here an hour ago, and that was 5 AM for him. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Paris here. I mean, if you can escape us back from Paris, you can get to Nuremberg, which is further than Clermont-Ferrand. But I really don't like this. I guess maybe Pizzawizard expected them to check Clermont-Ferrand first because it's the most obvious place.
I'm in danger.
Yeah, I don't know if this has been a very tense and tight game, because there was a fight in Nantes. And Van Helsing got absolutely clobbered and could have easily died from it. But there was a plotting into escape third round. Mina's down an item. She threw away her knife. Maybe she has a second knife or a Heavenly Host. But yeah, this is really difficult. This is really tough, because you've used one Renewed Vigor, and now you've got the second one in play. So RToWin is throwing a lot of the Hunter strength here, and is potentially not going to achieve a lot out of it. If Dracula can somehow weather this storm and get out of this, then the Hunters are going to be very weak moving forward. There is a possibility that actually Seward can get them into this fight. He could... He has horses, right? Or does he not have horses? Ah, maybe he doesn't. Oh, I don't know if he has horses, actually. Ah, if he doesn't have horses, then he can't get up into... If he has horses, he can, but then he's only going to have 2 combat items, and one of them are dogs, so it's not even a combat item. Yeah, there is a full trail. We had a Ruba token vampire, and then we had bodyguards. This could also be a hide card in here. Yeah, this is... Yeah, no, this is a really tricky spot. This is why I don't like early renewed vigors, because if they go really wrong, especially when you can't, you can only get 1 hunter in on non. It's just, yeah, it's really tough. Mina going into Saragossa actually moved her quite a bit out of position, and she lost a weapon, which was huge. Just going to Bordeaux to be able to go down with Van Helsing would have been much safer. And then Dracula wouldn't have wolf formed, because then, there's too much risk of a psychic scan, or, Mina's better positioned, and yeah, it's just... Yeah, that one move into Saragossa gave Dracula the confidence to wolf form past Van Helsing like he did. So yeah, this is going to be a very, pivotal moment here in this game. I'm really interested in what this encounter was, because if it was any sort of like aggressive encounter, Van Helsing would have been in more danger. But maybe obviously then RToWin would have played the combat differently if he'd taken damage from this. But yeah. I do like what Dracula's doing here, though, even though Paris is a bit risky because of Mina being able to move in and stuff. But it's kind of what we've been talking about last night, where Draculas have to take risks, and sometimes it's better to take a risk early. Rather than play, Dracula could have gone to C after not, but then you're giving all that pressure is then just going to be, it's like turning a valve. It's just going to all escape, and then the Huns can reposition and strengthen back up again. Hide scouts. Okay. It's actually pretty pivotal here, because if this is some sort of delaying encounter, then Seward can't deal with the next encounter on the trail. I probably would have searched, to be honest. So yeah, Pizzawizard sort of taking that into account and going, well, the Hunters are in a bit of a weak shape. I'm going to try to sort of deal with that and work to, use that to my advantage. Jovan Harker. Yeah, he's not going to be needed, unfortunately. Yeah, Geo versus Snuff's going to be interesting. Snuff needs to get... I mean, that's so pivotal. Geo want to try and get wins and not, finish in that sort of 14th, 15th, 16th position and try and avoid some of the top, the really, really top seeds. Even though all the games are difficult. And then you've got Snuff, who, if he wins both games, then he's definitely qualified for the knockouts. If he wins one, he might be okay, depending on how Medium Buckholz works out. But if he loses both, then it's just asking for people below him to overtake. It's going to be very pivotal, actually. And they've already played each other. Ooh, Consecrate. Oh, holy moly, what are these supplies? So we've had 3 newspapers, Consecrate Ground, and both Renewed Vigors in the top third of the deck. What the hell is going on? That's crazy. Okay, it makes sense that he's playing a little bit more defensive here, but still. So what are we going to do? Put, like, the CG token in Laharv, then? How are you gonna do this? I guess, yeah, Laharv, Paris, Clermont-Ferrand, and you're gonna force him into one of your hunters? I don't know how many heavily hosts there are. Ooh, I don't know about the Paris one. Because you're leaving Le Havre open tomorrow. I don't know about that. Don't know about that one. I probably would have put the permanent one in Le Havre, but so you I don't know. Dogs into and a steak. Holy shit! Desecrated soil. Ooh, that's really nice. He supplied a steak off the top of the deck. Does he have Heavenly Host? This 3 healing will be crucial. Oh, he does have a Heavenly Host. I think we saw it with the Consecrated Ground, right? But I never pay attention to that. Oh, that 3 healing could be crucial. Oh yeah, this is okay. This is actually now flipped really well in Hunter's favor here. It's not perfect, because Van Helsing is still going to be weak, but Gadami can get in. There won't be an encounter. Mina can get in. She only has 1 weapon, which does mean Draka could maybe leverage some advantage. Yeah, we kind of figured if he had perfect horse economy that you just don't use charter carriage there. That's fine. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, this is flipped very quickly now in Hunter favor. Okay, really good play there from RToWin to use the renewed vigor more to sort of reposition. So yeah, Dracula's going to have to move into a Hunter position here, which means no encounter. Who do you pick on here as Dracula, Mina or Van Helsing? I think there's a chance here, depending on how things go with events and things. There's every chance that you can kill maybe Van Helsing and maybe Mina, or escape his back against Mina in the night fight. Mina's showing a horse. She had a knife and it got discarded, so maybe she has double knife. Again, I missed the consecrated ground thing, so I don't know if she had if she had heavenly host or not. I'm dumb, so I don't pay attention to these things. Yeah, Van Helsing. Oh, yeah, Van Helsing has a 3rd item now. He had a crucifix which got discarded. We know he has a knife. We know he has a knife. Van Helsing might just go balls to the wall here and just go very aggressive against Drac and try and do some more damage to him, but I don't know. This is, again, a tough spot for Dracula. Whereas now there's a vampire somewhere in here. There's no longer pressure because Seward's got a stake. Yeah, a lot has happened in only, a week and a half. It's not even a week and a half yet. In 9 days, there's a lot has happened. A lot has happened. Yeah, Dracula's going to really, really ruin not killing Van Helsing yesterday. That could really... Having this extra body in here and having an extra location blocked off made that CG play possible. So yeah. Pizzawizard will maybe come back to rue that. I don't know if he had an additional combat card, but... Yeah, I think the plotting wasn't going to work out. Yeah, it could be very close in terms of medium buckholds. I don't know if anybody will be tied, but it could be very, very close. The thing is, we have to have IDS in the equation as well, because on the off chance that Mina Buckholz is tied. You need to have IDS. Oh, look at these two just staring each other down and nobody's picking a card. Really tough decision here. Van Helsing has to try. Van Helsing has to live this combat. You need that extra body in there for the night fight. But Dracula doesn't want to take too much damage here either. Especially if he didn't heal off that Desecrated Soil. Claws. Ooh, into a dodge. Good dodge by Van Helsing there. So we don't know what Van Helsing's new item is that he picked up. Maybe it's something completely benign. It could be a dog's, as far as we're aware. But Dracula doesn't know that, so that uncertainty is really gonna sort of play on Dracula here, and he could get caught out by it. Claws again. Ooh, Van Helsing gets out. 2 damage. Okay. Van Helsing will be able to heal up before the night fight as well. Dracula needs a little bit of luck here in terms of Mina not being able to get in here with horses. It's a Reckless Vamp. More combat. This is a very combat heavy game. This is yeah, Van Helsing surviving and non is just huge for hunters. Yeah, with that renewed vigor, he's able to resupply. He'll be able to heal now. He'll be on 3 health. So if great strength is part of the equation, then, you know, Dracula can't just one-shot him. And you got 2 other hunters in there that I'm trying to work around. Oh! Oh, but Sud has a stake, and yet he's just using the Heavenly Host. Fair enough. I mean, the Heavenly Host has done his job. Consecrated Ground's already been used, so you may as well. And then you got the stake ready to deal with something else. Wow, well played. Nicely done. Yeah, exactly. Or even just, you know, or even just another Reckless Vampire, right? Because if Dracula knows you've only got the Heavenly Host to try and kill the Vamp, then you can really sort of leverage that. But in this situation, I guess Pizzawizard didn't know that I was gonna play. Oh, we got another plan. What is these event draws? Holy shit! Oh dear, has RToWin got a hold of the codes? Okay, this is oh, goodness me. This is really tough. This could go. Oh man. I mean, this is very exciting, but holy moly, I'm really glad I'm just watching this and not playing this, because this must be so tense for both players. I mean, do you target Van Helsing, but he could just dodge round 1? I mean, I can't remember if Godalming has Heavenly Host or not, so maybe you can't even block that. Do you try and deal with Mina's only thing? Do you try to escape his bat again? So there's no Aggie, so you don't have to worry about that. But, oh man. Mesmerize. Into. Oh! Oh! Mina has no fear, just punching like that. Nicely done. Nicely done. Yes, I think Godalming might be playing a more aggressive card. Ooh, no heaven. Okay, so Godalming doesn't have Heavenly Host. Oh, he has Holy Bullets! Oh my goodness! Oh, pew 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 pew. Locked and loaded. Look at this. Oh, and Van Helsing went aggressive. Oh my god. Oh, Pizzawizard just been, oh man, absolutely shafted in that round one of combat. Holy moly, well played, RToWin. That's very impressive. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's Pizzawizard was scared of RToWin, and I think for good reason. That is some very ballsy play. But this could have gone really south for the Hunters if Van Helsing had died. So the first use of Renewed Vigor wouldn't have been worth it. Yeah. So Mina's gonna play her weapon. Yeah, I don't think Drac can get out of this. He just got completely outplayed in that round. Incredible. Incredible. Fangs into a punch. Wow. Gee, there was so much action in this game. It's not even 10 days have been played, and just so much happened. Oh, he had double knife. Goodness me. Well played, RToWin. That was very impressive. He made Pizzawizard look very amateur there. But Pizzawizard took some big risks, and it didn't work out for him. But that could have easily gone the other way. I think it's one of these games where if you just looked at the result without seeing the game, you go, oh my god, RToWin absolutely stomped it. And he did in terms of IDS, but there's just so much going on. There's just so much going on. Yeah. Yeah. Somewhat unfortunate. But again, that was a depend. Oh, he had great strength as well. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. What a game. The fact that Dracula doesn't put down an encounter when he moves into a hunter space just makes that very, a lot more straightforward there. Oh, he put a hoax in on? Oh my goodness. Any sort of damaging encounter would have just changed that fight. Oh my goodness. Oh man, he went for the big risky play and it didn't work out. He didn't expect second RV. Fair enough. I mean, to be honest, as soon as I saw the first one got played, I don't think you play first Renewed Vigor there unless you have a second one. Oops. Mental. They're just mental. So I think, again, this is kind of like what we were talking about last night, right? And it's kind of like this thing where you look at the headline figure of Hunters have won this number of games. And I feel the big issue with a lot... I mean, this is not me piling on Pizzawizard specifically here. We know Pizzawizard's a great player. He doesn't have to prove himself to anybody. We know he's an amazing player. But a lot of the issue with... I know playing Dracula is very, very hard, and you have to do a lot of things right, and Hunters have a lot of resources and so on. But a lot of it is also the fact that I think a lot of Dracula players this tournament are not playing at the top level. And it's just a case of not being able to sort of manage risk assessment properly. It's kind of it's an interesting thing. I think it's just, yeah. And I'm not saying that Pizzawizard is saying this. It's just a thing. I don't want people to sit and go, "Oh, Hunters are OP." It's also Dracula players have to take a bit of ownership. I think I would take the risk again. Honestly, I mean, I respect the risk. I don't know if the Paris move I like, because you're on a big city, and Mina could have easily moved in there and resupplied up again. But yeah, I think the risk was kind of worth it. I think the risk. I appreciate the risk taking. You had a big trail there. Sue had got, fortunate with his supply that he got a stake, and it then meant that a lot of your pressure on that trail was gone. But you know that Seward can't come and intercept you or anything, because he hasn't got horses. So that was a little bit unfortunate. But at the same time, it's like, well, there's only a third of the way through the deck. How likely is it he has all of this stuff, right? Double planned ambush, great strength, double renewed vigor, consecrated ground, all 3 newspapers. Was it like 2 charter carriages in the top third of the deck? I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. I think if you do that 9 more times, it would probably work 8 of them. Yeah, I think. And even then, like as I was saying, you obviously wouldn't hear Pizzawizard, but I said if you kill Van Helsing in that combat, it's just then a different situation, because he can't play this consecrated ground with such effect, because you've got, you can't block that third space. Yeah, it's just a different story then. Yeah, I think, the not being able to kill Van Helsing was the big thing there. Because then you'd just be able to leverage the fact that Gadami doesn't have horses. They could play CG, but it wouldn't be optimal. You'd be able to place an encounter, and then they have to walk into an encounter to do it, and then anything could happen, right? So, I like that you didn't go to C, because I feel it would just take all the pressure out of the game. You wanted to keep the pressure up, and I think that was really good, because then easily things could have gone wrong. But yeah. Yeah, exactly, right? That Saragossa move could have been really costly for RToWin there. You're too famous. You're too famous. Yeah, those local rumours were nasty. I just assume you would have gone to Clermont-Ferrand, because you'd have been further away from Godalming. Godalming didn't have horses, I don't think. So I would have just gone there. It's maybe more obvious, and maybe then CG would have affected things, but then you wouldn't have... Yeah, I don't know. Tough game. But I think that's, again, I really wanted Strasbourg. Right. Yeah, you go from Paris to Strasbourg, right. But the thing is, you don't have wolf form, that's the big issue. You're just not going to get that far. You need to try and get... Escaper's Bat. Yeah, he just got the stake, and then he was able to play Heavenly Host against it anyway. Yeah, I know. As soon as I saw that stake, I was like, my god, this trio is just going to be essentially non-existent. And it takes all that pressure off. But then again, on another day, he doesn't supply that stake. And then, yeah, maybe he might just Heavenly Host your Vampire anyway. But if you know he doesn't have a stake, then you don't ambush there, and then you maybe get into a night fight, and it could easily go wrong, and yeah. Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of, like, very... If you look at this... If I wasn't watching this game, and I just saw the result, and saw, oh, RToWin won with 14 IDS, I'd be like, holy crap, Pizzawizard got shit on. But there were so many sort of crucial sort of forks in the road in that game, where you could easily have gone very differently. You're coping. Yeah, you got all the copium on demand. So yeah, I feel that's the big issue with this. Like when we look at the headline figure of, oh, Hunters have won this number of games. Oh, look at all these results, and this is 14 IDS or 15 IDS or whatever. It doesn't a lot of the time, and this happened in previous tournaments too. It doesn't reflect how close games actually are, and how many crucial decision points there are in the game. Um, so yeah, but Hunters have really stepped up their game and the ability to sort of assess risk and reward. Like, yeah, RToWin did play very well. We can't take that away from RToWin. Like, there's a lot of crucial moments that there was a bit of luck that went with it, but RToWin was able to assess very well the cards that were at his disposal, and then be able to work out what was able to be done and what wasn't able to be done, despite certain setbacks. And I think that's that's a hallmark of a good player. And yeah, Hunters in general have just really improved, but I do feel there is an underlying, we talked about it last night, there's this underlying current that I think Dracula players are being a little bit too sort of happy-go-lucky at times, and I'm not, sometimes Dracula players will take risks and they'll go badly for them, but I'm just thinking about the games where in the league last year, which I won as Drac, and I think about, the risk I had to take to try and win those games, and and know when it's time to leave and when it's time to stay. I think it's really important. So yeah, maybe I think we need more Dracula related strategy videos. I think, but it's gonna be very hard. I think you need to try and look at like real game footage to show it. So yeah, good game though. Good game. There's a lot going on there. That's alright, Pizzawizard. Take care, and look forward to the second game. So, what is the plan? We'll sign off for people on YouTube. So, people on YouTube, thanks for watching. And yeah, if you go into the links below, you'll find in the description, you'll find links to all the people who record games from the Fury of Dracula community, and the playlist of all the games from the tournament, and links to the Discord, etc., etc., etc. So hopefully we'll see you over there at some point soon. Hope you enjoyed the game. And I will see you all for another game very soon. So everybody on YouTube, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye. Alright, everybody on Twitch, hello. Hello, hello, hello. So, what's the plan? I need to sort of get myself, sort of organised as a functioning human being after a week of basically being on the sofa. So I need to do some chores and stuff, and try and get myself organised. But there's maybe a chance I might do a little bit of sort of technical stuff maybe this afternoon. I've been mucking around with OBS settings. I don't know if Lynn and Platy are still here, but I've been trying to sort of try and work out why a lot of my games lag, even though my laptop isn't great. I should be able to play these games without lag. So I feel it might be actually OBS settings. So I've turned down like the what's it called? What is it called? I don't remember what the setting's called. The output, like the bit rate and the presets and things. So I'm hoping that kind of fixes things and it allows me to sort of stream other stuff. There's one game in particular I really want to stream, but I'm not sure if I can. So if I'm feeling up to it this afternoon, I might end up doing a test stream and just see if it works or not. So yeah, I'm just trying to troubleshoot stuff and trying to work as like, why are these games that I used to be able to play on my computer fine and now being laggy? I don't know what's going on. My copium is that my laptop is old, I need an upgrade, but I don't think that really actually answers the question, but never mind. So yeah, I've changed some stuff. We'll see if it works or not. So I might do some test streams. If not, I might need some technical support, but we'll see. So yeah, I will. Can we raid somebody? Is there somebody who we can raid? Don't know. Don't know. Troubleshooting is the way, yeah. I'll just try it, and if it doesn't work, I'll be like, oh, I give up. Okay, it doesn't look like anybody who we're friends with are streaming at the moment. That's okay, we'll just end the stream then. So yeah, I might be around a bit later. Don't know if my voice is up for it too, but I need to actually I need to do real life stuff, have a shower, clean up the kitchen, get myself ready for work tomorrow, assume I'm going, and yeah, and then maybe later on I may be able to do some stuff. But yeah. Thanks for being here, everybody. Appreciate the company. I know it's very early for the Americans, but they'll catch on YouTube afterwards, I'm sure. But thank you, everybody who's here. Fangs and Pizzawizard and Platty and Lynn. The Terminator was here earlier, and Julie and everybody. Thank you very much for being here. And yeah, I'll catch you all very soon. If I don't see you later on today, then have an amazing Sunday. Enjoy yourselves and rest and relax and all that good stuff. And yeah, I'll see you around. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Lynn. I'll try. I am feeling better, actually. I got through that stream much better than I thought I would, so I just kind of have to just put up with the blocked nose and the throat. But I did a lot better this stream than I thought I would, so that's a positive. Hopefully tomorrow will be better. But anyway, take care of yourselves, everybody. Love you all. See you soon. Bye-bye.